are kings and queens, descendants of the Most High, members of the original mankind. Yet at times we are blind and look into the ways of the world. Black beauty in America is like a diamond in the rough, rough and tough to be seen as Black and beautiful, because its principle isn't taught. Ever since we were unwillingly brought and forced to be bought into this imperialization of this foreign nation. To believe that we are less than, that our dark colors are weapon. To believe that Black boys in hoodies, that Black boys walking, that Black men running, that Black people being are threats, a menace to society. Black beauty now is a myth, an oxymoron. Morons plague self-hate in our brains while little Black girls crying and insane because they can't embrace the richness of their own mane. Skin bleaching becomes the teaching that white is right. Strip away your culture and understanding. Disown your heritage, your thick, coarse hair, full lips and wide nose, just to impose the standard of not being true to who you are. While that creamy white crack burns your scalp and the bleach burns the souls of our ancestors, remember, we cannot forget about them. We cannot forget about them. We cannot let our oppressions consume our thoughts and actions any longer. And see, Black beauty is just that, a fact, the truth and nothing but it. To see each other as sisters and brothers, not as competition or the enemy. There is beauty in being Black, and there's power too. Black boys, you are great and will grow to be kings. Black girls, you are great and will blossom into queens. Black unity in our communities, Black owned value, Black equality, Black love, Black beauty. Good evening, everyone. My name is Tara Levy. I am the creator of I Am Black Art, and this is Free Yourself. Happy Juneteenth. Not only do I want to create a special celebration, but I want an experience to encourage those that we should not just pay homage to Juneteenth when there's a pandemic, when lives are being lost every day. We should celebrate our Blackness each and every day and commemorate Juneteenth every year, just as we would the 4th of July. Before we begin, I want to make sure that we are centered, that a lot is going on in our world right now. A lot is happening, some good, some bad, some in between. But know that it's important that we center ourselves, that we prepare ourselves for whatever we're up against. And I believe that starts with meditating and just breathing. Okay, so to begin our program, we're going to start by breathing in 7 times. I use 7 in honor of my late line sister. Her number is number 7, so we're going to breathe in and breathe out 7 times. I'm going to lead us through this breathing exercise. Then my Uncle Al is going to lead us through this great affirmative call to action that is rooted in African tradition. Okay, so let's begin. First, we're going to take a deep breath in, breathing in peace. Breathing in peace. We need peace in our life. We need love in our life. We're going to breathe in peace, and we're going to exhale love. First deep breath. Breathe in peace. Exhale love. Our first one. We need some more peace. We need some more love. Second one. Breathe in love. Exhale peace. Breathe in. Third, we're going to breathe in Juneteenth and what it means. What does that mean to be free? We may not be free now, but what does that mean? How would you depict freedom? Breathe that in and let go of everything that is not keeping you free, that is not making you free. Breathe that in. Breathe in freedom. Exhale what's holding you down. Breathe in freedom. Exhale what's holding you down. Okay? Now, we are going to breathe in whatever that is giving you anxiety, whatever that is not serving you anymore. You're going to breathe that in, and you're going to release it. You're going to breathe that in, and you're going to release it. Breathe it in. Exhale. Three more deep breaths. Breathe in the excitement that you have for this celebration. Breathe in whatever is giving you joy right now. Breathe that in and share it with your breath. Be in that moment, celebrate that moment, have that to keep you and lead you. Two more deep breaths. Breathe in joy, exhale joy. Breathe it in, exhale joy. Breathe in joy, exhale joy. This is how you free yourself. This is how you liberate yourself. This is how you liberate your mind and your spirit. Now my Uncle Al is going to lead us in some affirmations and deeper meditation.
Yeah, hi, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank my dear niece for organizing this. And those breathing exercises were very good. And I want to share some things with you that will give you continuous power. Because our people are spiritual people. And we have to connect with our spiritual selves to keep moving forward and to bring about results that may seem impossible. But once we connect with the source of our being, all things are possible. So I'm going to share a meditation with you, continue with the breath that Tara had started. I learned this from Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane's wife. I had the great honor to study meditation with her. So I was thinking about everyone that's on here today. So I'm going to show you a meditative affirmation combined with the breath. Okay, so all you have to do is concentrate on whatever your connection spiritually is. For my Christian brothers and sisters, the word I want you to focus on, and I'm going to show you in 1 second, is hallelujah. Okay, for my Christian brothers and friends. That's what you're going to be focusing on, with connected with the breath. For my Muslim brothers and friends who may be here today, I want you to focus on Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar, for my Muslim brothers and sisters. And for my brothers and sisters who maybe not connected at all with any of the traditional paths, we're going to connect with a yoga mantra. Okay, you can connect with a yoga mantra. Now this will keep you focused. It'll feed your spirit, and it'll keep you and it'll take away all negative vibrations and keep you empowered. So the way we're going to do this, we're going to take just a few minutes. When I breathe in, for my Christian friends, when we take that breath, we're just going to think. We're going to breathe in, hallelujah, and we're going to breathe out, Yah. So every time we breathe in, we go, hallelujah, Yah, exhale. Okay, and for my Muslim brothers and friends, every time you take a breath, Allah Akbar. Okay, and for those who want to do a yoga mantra, you're going to say, every time you take a breath, you're going to say, Hare, and when you breathe out, Krishna. These are some ancient names of God. So ready? Everybody got it? Okay. So ready, let's do it. Okay, we're just going to breathe in, and we're going to start now for a few minutes. Now you can say this out loud. Since you're muted, you can just say it out loud. For those who don't want to say it out loud, you can think it mentally. Okay, we'll stop for the sake of time. Just remember that this is something you can do every day. Start your day off like that and end your day like that. Because see, the power is in the name of God. God got many names. And you can connect to God through sound vibration or through mental concentration. Just by meditating on the name, you will enliven your spirit, will give you strength and give you positive energy to address whatever task that's in front of you. Wish you the best.
Thank you, Uncle Al. I hope that's what your soul needed. I hope you feel refreshed and you feel ready and just open to this experience. Now I want to segue to another amazing Black man, another amazing Black man of God. I actually went to school with him, and we're a few years apart, but growing up, I thought he was just so cute and little, but then I saw him like, you know what? He's actually a pretty amazing man. And I'm really impressed. I'm really impressed. You're gonna be blown away by his spirit and just by his talent. Please welcome now the one and only Bernard Lilly.
Thank you so much, Tara. I want to thank you for inviting me to be here. For those who don't know me, my name is Bernard Lilly Jr., but anytime I'm singing, I go by B. Lilly. I'm gonna sing a couple songs for you guys. First song is called Beautiful by Molly Music. Can you hear that?
Yeah, maybe a little bit louder.
All right. It's a blessing to see people with their hands up to the sky, still ill. It's honestly for the same people. Life can be so real. Now I'm amazed by all your strength. I am, yes I am. And I'm grateful you came through. Hey, yeah. So I take this time to stop this moment and show my gratitude for you. I put my lighters in the air for you. I see what you're doing, yeah, I see what you go through. I put my lighter in the air, the truth is you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I put your lighters in the air for us. Everybody singing together, sing a new song. Put your lighters in the air for love, beautiful. You're beautiful, yeah, yeah. Many mighty ships are sinking. Many stars are falling down, 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 down. And I count it as a blessing that you hold me up now. Oh, I can tell that you've been praying. Look at me, yeah, yeah. My whole life has turned around. And I can't go without saying that I thank God for you all now. For you are my light is in the air for you. I see what you're doing, yeah, I see what you go through. I put my light in the air, the truth is you're beautiful, you're beautiful. I put my lighters in the air for us. Everybody singing together, sing a new song. Put your lighters in the air for love, beautiful. Beautiful, yeah, yeah. Beautiful. And I really love the message of that song. I feel like it's important for all of us, especially as Black folks, to know and understand that we're beautiful inside and out, no matter what society does to refute that. I'm gonna sing one more song. It's a song called "Ready, Aim, Fire" by the same artist, and it's just a song that empowers me, and I hope that when you hear it, it'll empower you as well. I'm on an airplane. Yeah, 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 yeah. The destination of this flight is to the other side. I guess I gotta go there. I guess I gotta come here, yeah. I know where I'm from, but now I'm headed where I'm going right. Yeah, yeah. But there are powers in the ever you can see them. And they got rockets and machine guns, yeah. And the fire ain't on my plane. But I see fire ain't fire. Ready, aim, fire, aim. You can't shoot me down, can't shoot me down. Fire, aim, yeah. Fire, aim. Ready, aim, fire. You can't shoot me down, can't shoot me down. La 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 la. Said I'm just trying to make it straight, cause it's sideways. Trying to bring water to a dry place. I wanna bring hope where it ain't none. I'm trying to bring love to a hot place. I wanna make the shooter get the gun now. So mother get the hold of sun now. I wanna make the lame man run again. And make the blind man see the sun again. But all I hear is bang, bang, yeah, yeah. I don't think the past really want that. They breathing down my neck, up on my back. They breathing down my neck, up on my back. There, breathing down my neck, up on my back. They breathing down my neck, up on my back. They breathing down my neck, up on my back. Got the guns out, but I say fire, Amy, yeah, yeah. Fire, hey, ready, aim, fire. You can't shoot me down, can't shoot me down. Fire, Amy, yeah. Fire, ready, aim, fire. You can't shoot me down, can't shoot me down. No. Can't shoot me down, can't shoot me down. No. Ready, aim, fire. And once again, my name is Lilly. That's my time. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me, Tara. And I hope that you were empowered by those songs just as I was. Peace.
Snaps up for Bernard. Thank you, Mr. Lilly. I told you he was good, y'all. I told you. Thank you, thank you. I actually love Mali music, and I was so excited when he said he was going to be singing a song by him. And I had to put my mom on game. She's like, "Who is Mali music? What is that? I never heard that." So Mom, play the song, and then tell me how you feel about it afterwards. But speaking of mamas, there's a little lady that'll be presenting now who I've been knowing for a while. We talk on a regular, and she has been an inspiration for who I am, and literally the creation for who I am, and a lot of how I think and breathe and believe. And so I think a lot of my activism, a lot of my intellect, a lot of my just consciousness and love for my people comes from my people, and that's my mama. So please be so kind to welcome my beautiful and intelligent mother as she shares with us the history of Juneteenth.
Thank you, Tara, and happy Juneteenth to everyone. We must know our history to understand the present in order to plan for the future. The Declaration of Independence, enacted on July 4th, 1776, states in part that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But the truth is that the Declaration of Independence did not apply to Black men, Native Americans and people of color, and women. From the inception of this nation, a cancer of white male supremacy and domination, racism and sexism has festered and soared. A nation formed by the massacre of the indigenous people, Native Americans, who first occupied this land that was taken from them. A land built off the blood, sweat, tears, and the lives of Black slaves. And to maintain power and control of this land, the Constitution was enacted by the Founding Fathers in 1787, with laws written by and for the benefit of white men, many of whom were slave owners. And Black lives did not matter. Slaves were considered property, often less than farm animals, and is written in the Constitution, Black slaves were considered 3/5 of a person. A compromise reached not to give slaves some human value, but solely for the benefit of the slave owners to acquire more seats in Congress and electoral votes by counting 3 out of every 5 of their slaves as people to increase their state's population for legislative representation. 86 years after the enactment of the Declaration of Independence, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, freeing all slaves held in bondage, effective January 1st, 1863. Yet, some slave owners refused to abide by this order and failed to inform their slaves that they were free. And 2.5 years later, on June 19, 1865, Army General Gordon Granger and 2,000 federal troops rode into Galveston, Texas, freeing the remaining 250,000 Black people who were still kept in bondage. June 19th has come to be known as Juneteenth, Freedom Day, Emancipation Day, or Liberation Day, to commemorate the freedom of the last remaining slaves. The pursuit of freedom, justice, and equality for Black people has been a long, hard, winding journey that has spanned over the course of more than 400 years, when Blacks were first held in bondage, dating back to 1619. A road trudged by our ancestors, freedom fighters, and countless others, many who sacrificed their lives and have been met by resistance every step of the way along their journey. Many laws and constitutional amendments were enacted to provide freedom, justice, and equality for Black people. In December 1865, the 13th Amendment to the Constitution abolished slavery. 1868, the 14th Amendment gave former slaves full citizenship rights and equal protection under the law. And in 1870, the 15th Amendment granted Black men the right to vote. But it wasn't until 50 years later, in 1920, that the 19th Amendment granted women the right to vote. As a result of civil unrest, boycotting, and protests, the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was enacted and banned discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or natural origin. And the Voters' Rights Act of 1865 was signed into law that prohibits racial discrimination in voting. Despite some significant inroads, constitutional protections, and enactment of laws, Black people continue to face discrimination, inequality, and injustice, and systemic racism. Today marks the 155th anniversary of Juneteenth. And in 2020, we must continue the journey for justice and equality for all. To combat racial injustice and systemic racism, we must free ourselves from thoughts of hopelessness, helplessness, and voter apathy. Peaceful protesting can effectuate change, but it must be followed by strategic planning, commitment, and action, not reaction, and looting and destruction of property and communities is never the solution. Each of us must stand up and be counted in the census to ensure that we get the federal funding and resources needed to build and maintain our communities and to have proper representation so that our voices can be heard in Congress. We must continue to advocate for ourselves and our community and be the change that you want to see, because Black lives matter. There is power in our voice and strength in our numbers, and we must vote to effectuate change. For it was the outpouring of the Black vote that sealed the election for our first Black president, Barack Obama, in 2008, and again in 2012. It was the Black vote in Alabama in 2017 that defeated Roy Moore, an alleged pedophile and sexual predator, from becoming a United States Senator, and the Black vote in South Carolina in 2020 that propelled Vice President Joe Biden to become the Democratic presidential nominee. We must be informed, stay informed, and hold our elected officials accountable, and show up and vote for the people who show up for us. Let's vote like our ancestors died for it, because they did. And vote like our lives depend on it, because it does. Thank you.
That's my mama, y'all. Y'all better snap it up for her. Clap it up. Come on. All right, I'm about to meet you, mama. Thank you. We appreciate you. All right, everyone. We're gonna continue this. Look at Uncle Mr. Carl. He's cheering for you. He's cheering for you. We're gonna continue this movement of just powerful Black women. This next amazing Black queen is somebody else I grew up with, and we went to Providence. Despite our struggle, y'all, PSM made some phenomenal young people, because we out here doing it. We out here doing what we supposed to do, okay? So we can say what we want, but look, we here. But this next queen, she is an inspirational person. She's an amazing friend, an amazing mother, an amazing Black woman. And I just feel, I didn't even have to like ask her what she's gonna be doing and how she's gonna do it. I just knew it was gonna be great, because she's just a great person. She always has wisdom. We're the same age, but she be mothering me and just pouring in on me. So please welcome my sister friend, Miss Najari Williams. Snap it up, clap it up for her.
Hi everybody. Thank you, Tara. You don't let her fool y'all. She the one with all the wisdom. I just got a little bit of it, but she has all the wisdom. Today I'm going to be doing a combination of two things. When this thing came up, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I used to write and perform a lot of poetry, and I've gotten away from that. So I kind of wanted to do a poem, but then I also was thinking about everything that's going on and just like how much of the past we are literally like reliving. And how much of the fight we're continuing. So I thought, why not talk about the Black arts movement of the 1960s and 70s? So I'm not sure how many people are familiar with the Black arts movement, but it was a movement that arose in the 60s and 70s, and it was really based on political, social, and cultural activism, but it really heavily relied on artistic expression. It was during a time where artists were using different mediums to express who they were, what they represented, and their appreciation and dedicated to the Black experience. It was marked by revolutionary artwork, and it provided a safe space for Black artists and Black consumers to not only celebrate Black culture, but also to just spread a message of cultural pride and political and social autonomy from Western ideals. So it was a movement. It was marked by a lot of self-determination, Black nationalism, political and economical autonomy, and just a newfound cultural appreciation for what it means to be Black and how we express that in everyday living. So Larry Neal was one of the like critics and huge thinkers during this time, and he once said that the Black arts movement is radically opposed to any concept of the artist that alienates him from his community. The movement is the aesthetic and spiritual sister of the Black power concept. As such, it envisions an art that speaks directly to the needs and aspirations of Black America. And so I've been surrounded by Black art and Black artists my entire life. I feel like now more than ever, we need to really do exactly what we've been doing, continuing to embrace who we are, where we come from, things that are Black culture, and not only embracing it, but ensuring that our children are continuing in that same light and in that same legacy, continuing to be okay with who they are, and to say, you know, I'm proudly Black and this is who I am and what I represent. Like, my culture is a part of the things that define me, and it's not something to be ashamed of or afraid of, but something to be proudly celebrated. And so I thought, like, wow, we're doing like this cool artistic thing, all these artists, all these community members. We can't talk about community and like Black art without honoring the artists who worked so hard during the Black arts movement. Artists like Amiri Baraka, artists like Sonia Sanchez, Gwendolyn Brooks, Nikki Giovanni, and the list goes on and on. And so I'll wrap it all up by doing a quick expression. I'm not gonna call it a poem, it's words, but I'll for sure share those words with you guys. In the spirit of revolution and in the spirit of the arts, as seen, experienced, and expressed through the Black lens, I say, rest in revolution. Rest in revolution to all those who have transitioned but spent their lives in work contributing to the liberation and expression of Black people. Continue in legacy to those who are still putting up a fight, and prosper and promise to all those to come. To those whose pens, brushes, voices, movements, creativity, and sounds serve as weapons, but also as a place of refuge. To those who have taught and showed us that Black beauty is full of strength and wisdom and is at the core of our existence. We honor you today and every day, whether through revolt and resistance, through spiritual revival and survival, or a combination and everything in between. Your fierceness has not been forgotten. Your strength and resilience are embedded in our DNA, and we celebrate you and our liberation on this day. Thank you guys, and happy Juneteenth.
Thank you, Najari. Snaps to Najari, my girl. Thank you, thank you. There has been a lot of Black girl magic with Black women magic, because we are women, going on. But I also want to pay tribute to a really awesome man. So 5 years ago, I graduated from the University of Missouri. Oh my goodness, yeah, 5 years. And it was not a cute time for me. You know how you have like this vision of how you're gonna be fresh out of college, you're gonna have this amazing job, everybody's gonna say yes to your resume, all of this, right? Well, that ain't happened for your girl. And so I was unemployed. I eventually got a job at Target, but I'm like, look at me, I'm working at Target. I spent all this time working at Target, tripping, right? And no shade to those who work at Target, but it was just like, I had this vision for myself. But in the midst of finding my career path, finding what it is that I have, I found NAACP. I joined NAACP West Side Branch in 2015. I've been a member ever since. And one of the reasons why I joined is because of this wonderful man in my life, Mr. Carl Brinson. He spoke to me when I was down. Like, I internalized those resume rejections. I internalized all of that. I didn't think I was worthy to be employed. He just told me, just be patient. Calls me Dr. Levy. Just be patient, Dr. Levy. It's going to work out. You're going to find something. You're going to find something. And I eventually found education. I've been in education for 5 years now. And so I feel like that was a blessing. I was open during a time when not a lot was going on for me. I was able to join NAACP then and just be open to what they do for the community. They do so much. They do such great work for not just the West Side, Chicago, and Chicagoland. So without further ado, I want to give Mr. Carl Brinson, the president, NAACP West Side Branch president, time just to share what we're doing for the community.
I got you, Dr. Levy.
Okay, there we go.
Just a little technically challenge over here. My battery dying and everything else going on and all that. Just a little. I want to thank you for helping and letting me be a part of this great celebration, this piece that you've put together. Like you stated, Carl Brinson, president of West Side Branch NAACP. We've been doing some great things on the west side of Chicago and throughout the city. We're constantly working to try to change the attitudes and change the behavior, but most of all, we're trying to change the policies and the practices and the attitudes of people in this city and throughout this country. Currently, we've been working on what people might have heard of. It's called a consent decree. That's the consent decree that we're entering into based on the practice and abuse of the police department. That's been one of the things we've been working on for the last several years. We was able to help bring the Justice Department into Chicago to create this consent decree that we are into now. It's been really a challenge, but hey, we're still moving forward. But being a part of one of the oldest civil rights organizations in the country, I always make this statement. I say we should have been out of business a long time ago. This is one organization that shouldn't have even existed in 2020. But yet we're still here, still marching, still fighting, still addressing the same issues that's been with us ever since we've been on these shores. We just had the riots of a couple of weeks ago over the same issues since we've been on these shores. And I kept saying, how do this organization, why would this organization still need to be in existence today? But I guess one thing that brings us great hope is Dr. Levy talk about the inspiration and talk about her being a part of this organization. The greatest thing and one of our greatest accomplishments was having Dr. Levy join us. Has been a young voice joining an old organization, bringing some life to an old organization, bringing creativity to an old organization. That is one of the funnest moments and the most greatest times that we applaud ourselves as we talk and we gather and we take on these challenges. Because why is that so important? To get young people to be a part of old established organizations like the NAACP. Our voice can fade as we get older, but when we revigorate them and regenerate them with young people like Dr. Levy here, with our creativity and our activism, it gives us hope and it keeps us going, but hopefully we won't have to go another 100 years with this same fight. Hopefully in her time, in her time, that we will be put out of business, that we will go out of business. So I just have to thank this young lady who continues at her young age with that old soul to keep being a trooper, to keep guiding us and keep leading. She and some more like her and around her don't understand the energy they give to us. Because it's so easy for us being old, get worn down. Like I said, we're the oldest organization. We're a very old organization. But having young ladies, young men around, and with the energy she brings, it makes us see that all is not lost, that the cavalry is on the way, and that the cavalry is here to stay, and she will help flush out and put this old dog to rest, which is the NAACP, and get rid of racism and bigotry for good. So I want to applaud Dr. Levy for all she does. She also is our CAN TV producer, director, and facilitator. So she does a lot for us, but she lifts us up all the time. She's the wind up on our wings. So Dr. Levy, keep on leading, keep on teaching, and keep on keeping on. Thank you for that. Let me be a part of this Juneteenth celebration. Do what you do. Thank you.
Uncle Mr. Carl, see, Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. And as I call him Uncle Mr. Carl, as Mr. Brinson just spoke on, we have to keep young people engaged. We have to keep young people active in the community. I was telling my mom this earlier today, and I'm not trying to step on anyone's toes, but I feel that this Black Lives Matter movement is very reactive. It's very gimmicky. It's very trendy. I live in Forest Park, and so I couldn't even get to my parents' place because there were a lot of protests, parades, streets were blocked off, all this happening because of Juneteenth. I was excited that this was happening, but I've been in Forest Park almost 2 years now, and I've not once seen a Juneteenth parade until today. Until a Black man is laid to rest on camera, that's when, oh, Black Lives Matter. That's when it becomes a hashtag. That's when you see Target and Google making it on their screens. So let's not make this a hashtag. Let's not make this a trend. Let's make this a way of being. Let's make this a way of life. Let's make it so much, as like Mr. Carl said, that it becomes extinct, that we don't have to keep saying Black Lives Matter because everybody knows it and shows it. So for those who are saying Black Lives Matter, thank you. Thank you. I'm not saying I don't appreciate it. I'm not saying that it doesn't look good to see on my timeline, but don't show me. Don't tell me, show me. As my mama say, don't talk about it, be about it. If Black Lives Matter, show us that Black Lives Matter. If you believe Black Lives Matter, then love and respect yourself and love and respect those in your community who look like you. Okay, I'm gonna stop preaching for right now, but that's how I feel. I got it off my chest. It's done. All right, so thank you again, Uncle Mr. Carl. Y'all see why I call him Uncle Mr. Carl. Again, if you are interested in joining the NAACP West Side branch, once Corona is over with, definitely feel free to reach out to me. You can hop on my show. I air live every Friday, quarterly, so definitely reach out to me once all of this is done, once Rona stop tripping and we get off of timeout. But right now, I want to go into another special artist, another talented young lady. I met her about a year and a half ago. I'm a part of this organization, well, group me, called Chicago Black Millennials, and there are a lot of dope Chicago Black millennials. I don't live in Chicago, but like a lot of my livelihood is in Chicago. I teach on the West Side, my church on the West Side, my grandma on the West Side. West Side is like, I claim the West Side, even though I'm in Forest Park. So that's why I'm in Chicago Black Millennials. But anyway, this next queen, I met her through this organization. She performed on my last show in May, and she blew me. She blew me with all like this wokeness and Black consciousness and like saying stuff that I felt like saying but wasn't bold enough to do it. So please welcome Kay, snap it up and clap it up for her.
Thank you, Tara. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
So when I thought about Juneteenth, I definitely thought about freedom, and I was like, what is it that I want to say? And freedom definitely means to me sharing your story and sharing your perspective. I have varied experience. I've been a mentor for several years. I've talked to several women, friends that have shared their experience of being a Black girl or a Black woman. So tonight I chose to shed light on that experience through poetry. So this piece is entitled Black Girl's Plight. So nobody ever asks the Black girl what's wrong, how she feels, what's going on. I mean, she probably won't answer you. She may have trust issues. She may get beat if any of her mama's business gets out on the street. No one ever wipes her tears. She's always in trouble for always crying, no hugs, no comfort. It's as if her tears fall for no apparent reason, as if she's asked to be here, be poor, be lost, be scarred. No one asks why she's so quiet. When no one talks to her at home, she may not know what to say. Parents rather talk on the phone than talk to her. They figure her toys are enough to raise her. No friends are good enough to be around her, or why she has such a smart mouth. Maybe that's the way her family talks to her. She's been ugly, stupid, and no good since she's graced this earth, or why she dresses the way she does. Because her father left. And ever since, she's heard different men come in while her mother thought she slept. So subliminally, she thinks sex is love, and that's how she keeps men from leaving. So dress sexy, attract men, attract love. Or why she has an attitude. She may be so full from all the different things she's experienced, from rape to molestation, her cross-dressing father, too many siblings and don't know their names, the death of her second grade best friend, her first love being shot in the head, her great-grandma being taken from her. Never able to be a little girl because grown men lusted after her. Mistreatment by family members that her parents entrusted, but going through all this, she's just labeled as another typical Black girl with an attitude problem that'll never keep a man, that'll never have friends, that'll never be anything more than just like her daddy who was never there. Can you imagine always being compared to someone you never met but who created you? Who chose not to stay? Who blatantly didn't want you? Black girl. Whispered about, talked about, bullied, lied on, manipulated, but never lent a hand. And it's left at that. Black women are taught at birth to be independent because their mother was jaded by the absent father, and you may look too much like him, so she harmed you. Deal with your issues by yourself, Black girl, because no one cares to listen to you. Society misinterprets survival for strength. Black women are strong because we have to be, and that's why the Black woman is a force to be reckoned with, ever since slavery. When slave masters tried to destroy the Black family trinity, Black women stood up and made Blacks free. But issues, never talk about it, just get over it. And for centuries, we're still hurting. That pill is no longer working. Cancer and hypertension are the evidence of the Black girl's plight. Black girls have issues too. Some of our childhoods leave us as post-traumatically distressed as war victims. Our cries at night because the only shoulder to cry on is our pillow. Waking up in the morning getting yelled at for puppy eyes so you know next time to try to hide the evidence of tears or hold it all inside, but it has to come out. It may be a fight every week at school, ugly pages in your diary, cursing out your aunties, people calling you crazy, looking in the mirror asking, what's wrong with me? Knowing what you went through, but pushing it so far back in your mental, you try to forget until you're triggered. It may be a little boy who shows us love. It may be dressing provocatively for attention. It may be staying quiet and talking to no one. It may be catching an attitude whenever someone tells us something. It may be extreme tattoos and piercings. It may be pregnancy after pregnancy. It may be extreme makeup and weaves. It may be degrees. These are a Black girl's outlet or screams for help, but everyone ignores it. No one wants to be the Black girl's good Samaritan. But I guess since she's not shooting up churches or schools, she gets no evaluation. She can handle her situation. No, she just learns to cope, and she passes on that same mechanism to her Black little girl to be strong when it never worked for her. Thank you, guys.
That was powerful, Kay. That was powerful. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for speaking on the various hard and traumatic experiences that Black women and Black girls face every day, but are forced to suffer in silence. I think it's important that we as Black people seek help. It's a must. Being Black in America is traumatic on its own. It's exhausting. I shared a poem on Facebook about how being Black is physically exhausting. I've been so drained these past 2-3 months just by simply being a Black woman in America. Again, I live in Forest Park. It's a relatively mixed area, but still majority white. And I just feel the looks as I walk. Like I walk every day. I've been walking every day for a while now. I feel the looks. And so the looks I didn't feel in March, I feel now. I feel the, hey, how you doing? Have a good, it wasn't sincere for me. It was kind of like, I'm gonna just try to say hi to you to break the tension, but not really. I feel all of this, right? I'm a Virgo, this is what I do. And so I just feel like there has to be a way that we healthily and positively deal with our issues. For me, that's writing. For me, that's praying. For me, that's meditating, talking to my mom about it. Sometimes I be calling her just tripping. And then when I let it out, I feel better. But whatever that is, we have to make sure that we are dealing with whatever our traumas are. Because like I said, being Black in America is already traumatic enough. We have to deal with that so we can stay alive and thrive and continue to encourage other people coming behind us to do the same. Speaking about Black mental health care, speaking about why it's important to shed light, please welcome Ms. Bird. I've known Ms. Bird since 3rd grade. Yeah, so she's been doing this since I was a shorty. And so I'm just so honored to have Ms. Bird here to talk about her business and her work. Please welcome Ms. Michelle Bird.
All right. How you guys doing? I am Michelle Bird. I started off as a school counselor. That's how Miss Tara Levy knows me, and decided to go into clinical mental health because I saw the trauma, right? And so it's near and dear to me to talk about the trauma and why we need, as a community, as a people, we need therapy. We need a sounding board. We need coping strategies. I look at what's happening around us, and while I don't condone anybody hurting anyone, damaging anything that belongs to anyone else, I also understand how the brain works. I also understand the trauma that we have been exposed to pretty much since birth. If you're Black, you've been traumatized since birth. Let's just say you had this perfect family and we did everything right and there was no trauma. By the time you walk out the door to go to school, trauma begins. Let me give you a definition. Trauma is the response to a deeply distressing or disturbing event that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope, causes feelings of helplessness, for us, hopelessness, diminishes their sense of self and their ability to feel the full range of emotions and experiences. In a nutshell, it's an experience that overwhelms our ability and capacity to cope. And we are traumatized first, and then we're re-traumatized. And what happens is in the trauma, in the brain, there is very little, if any, prefrontal cortex of the brain working when you're traumatized. We're always in fight, flight, or freeze. We saw it, and we've seen it time and time again. Once the pot boils off, all we need is just give me a reason. Just give me a reason. And we're popping off, right? Because the trauma is not addressed. And then we're re-traumatized because, as Kay said in her poetry, why don't you do this? So why don't you do that? And so we're re-traumatized. So what I would say in this time of trauma, and that's why we need the assistance. So what I would say in this time of trauma, we really need to make sure that we are taking care of our minds. We need to, the Bible says to guard our hearts. Our hearts are our minds. We need to make sure that we're guarding our hearts. And what does that mean? We need to take care of our brains. See, when we have diabetes, when we have high blood pressure, when we have heart issues, we'll run out to the hospitals, we'll run to the doctors for the most part, because not everybody will, but we'll go when we have an ache or we have a pain, and we'll trust that professional to help us out. If he says take a pill, we're going to take a pill. If he says we need a surgery, we're going to get a surgery. For all the organs that are within our bodies. And even with the brain, if there is something medical, if there's a tumor or anything, but we don't take care of our minds. And God put people in place for us. When I was doing school counseling, I would tell the students, listen, you can ready to go off to college. There's some places you need to go to. You need to go to the financial aid department. You need to go see your advisor. You need to go schedule your classes. And then you need to go to the counseling department. Well, I don't have any issues. Okay, but you're getting ready to go through a transition, and that in itself can be an issue, right? So familiarize yourself with these things, and we need to familiarize ourselves. And it is, not everybody has insurance, so not everybody can. Some people have insurance and they try to sign up. We are overbooked. I have gone from 15 to 17 clients a week to 26. So, and it's not enough of us that look like us that are therapists. So I get that as well. Or some people are just shy away from therapy. So I've created a Facebook group to reach as many people as I can, to do a Facebook Live every single week to talk about any questions that you might have. We talked about trauma last week and how to cope. So let me quickly tell you how to cope with trauma. It's called Heads Up Mental Clarity, by the way. So log in, watch us. I drop nuggets. I drop affirmations because I believe in building people up. I've been a mentor for many, many, many years of all young people. That's my demographic. I've also had a group for girls, GEMS, Girls Empowered and Moving, for the very reasons that Ms. K talked about. So look up Heads Up Mental Clarity and become a member of that. Some ways that we can cope with the trauma, especially right now, because we can start feeling hopeless. Turn off, unplug. I promise you, the stuff that's out there that we see and people keep feeding it to us over and over and over again, it's gonna be there when we plug back in. If you get the news once, don't watch it over and over and over again. And if you find that you don't have the mental ability to turn it off once you see it, then try not to watch it. I haven't watched the news in years for that very reason. Make a decision what you will allow to come into your mind. I don't want to see a video of us being killed to prove that we're being killed. I already know that. So I don't need to watch how they do it. I already know that. So unplug from that. We get anxious about things that are happening around us. And so with that anxiety, anxiety is a lack of control, a fear. I can't control. Find the things you can control and control that. Set up a schedule for yourself so you can create a routine for yourself every single day. Because when you do that, then your life feels a little bit more in control, right? You want to control other things, then make sure that you're plugging into the NAACP, plugging into those positive avenues that we have to be activists and to be advocates for our people. Make sure you're doing your census. Make sure you're voting. If you just need to do something, right? We got to pay attention to our bodies. What does my head say? What am I thinking about? We got to guard that. Do some affirmations. Find something positive to listen to fill your mind with. But don't get it twisted, though. Don't ignore what you feel and what you think. Acknowledge it. Figure out if you can do anything with it. If you don't know how, find somebody that can help you, a therapist or somebody else that can help you. And then do what you can and then move on from it. So pay attention to what you're feeling. You're hearing, you're thinking. Pay attention to what you feel. Acknowledge it, right? And then try to process it. You might need somebody to help you process what you're feeling. Pay attention to your gut. Our bodies tell us a lot. What does your gut say? What does your intuition say? Your intuition says go and protest. Then take your feet and go protest. But if your intuition says, maybe I need to do something else, then don't let nobody else tell you that you need to be protesting. Then you do something else. Because there is plenty for us to do for us to get what we're trying to get, right? And then lastly, your feet. You want to do so. We want to do something. We feel in control if we could do something. We could just do something. But do you know if you just help your little sister or brother who may be a single parent with the care package, you're doing something? Do you know if you provide a resource, you're doing something? Do you know if you see a queen or a queen walking and you say hello, you're doing something? I had an incident in a Dunkin' Donuts. Like I'm still distancing. So I'm gonna need you to give me 6 feet. And a young brother walked up and he not caring about social distancing. And he walked up into my space less than 3 feet. So I turned around and I tried to smile with my eyes because I have on a mask. And I say, little brother, could you step behind the line, please? He's like, why? And I was like, I mean, you know, we social distancing. I just kind of want you to give me 6 feet. He said, man, y'all be tripping. But I said, listen, I appreciate it. Thank you. That could have been all bad. But I acknowledged that he's a person. He acknowledged that I respected him. And he went on and moved back. That's what I'm talking about. Those type of things, if you want to do something, you want to contribute, we can contribute one person at a time. But in the meantime, make sure you're taking care of your brain. You're getting your therapy. You have a routine. You're meditating. It's important to start your day with meditation and prayer if you're spiritual. Meditate for sure. You're breathing. You need to make sure you're doing that. Exercising. getting outside. First of all, our melanin does not take in enough sun and get enough vitamin D. So we need to get out there as much as we can. Walk, whatever. Get your blood work checked up to make sure that your levels are all together. You know, your blood work, your vitamin D, your magnesium, your calcium, all that is okay. Because all of those things too has an effect on your brain and if you're feeling anxious or depressed. If you need medication, I am not a pusher of medication because I am a holistic person, but I am the first to tell you that after you've done your workup, after you've done what you need to do at home, exercising, you've done everything, and there is still some depression and anxiety going on, go see a therapist, go see a psychiatrist. It's no shame in it. Sometimes we need a little help to get over the hump, right? So I don't want to take up all of the time. Thank you so much, Tara, for inviting me to do this. As you can hear in my speech and my demeanor, it's my passion that people understand and know their bodies physically and mentally so that we can be a whole person. But the best thing we can do is make sure we're unplugging and we're paying attention to our bodies. You can find me, Michelle Wallace-Bird, on Facebook. Heads Up Mental Clarity is my group. I'm on Psychology Today. If I cannot accommodate you, I can point you to the person that can and the resources that might be helpful for you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Amen, Miss Bird. Amen. 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 And a lot of the things that you said have been applicable to me in my life. And so like, that makes me feel a little bit better about what I'm doing. I literally have been walking, I want to say since March 13th, every day since the pandemic hit. In the midst of that, I have lost my grandfather, I lost a student, I lost a neighbor in those 3 months. And so all those events, especially my grandfather, has been very traumatic to me. But because of my walking, because of my journaling, because of my meditating, that has been my armor to fight against these battles. So I appreciate you saying that. I just want that to resonate in all of us. In all of us. I signed up for therapy last year. We don't need to be crazy. Let's get rid of that stigma to sign up for therapy. We Black. Sign up for therapy or do something that is therapeutic. I have found what is therapeutic for me, what works for me. Walking is therapy for me. Writing is therapy for me. You have to find something that works for you because you're going to be hit. You're going to be hit many times. Like I told you, I lost 3 people in 3 months, less than 3 months. And so like I've been hit, but what I am doing is keeping me going. It's what's driving me. So mental health, I think is just as important, if not as important as physical health, because it leads to So thank you, Ms. Bird, for saying that. Speaking of mental and physical health, I am on the mental and physical health on the most illustrious and amazing sorority in the world, Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. My mom said, ooh, with the bad pinky, but it's okay. And right now I have one of my lovely sorors. She is a doctor. Like Uncle Mr. Carl jokes and calls me Dr. Levy. Like I'm gonna be a doctor, maybe by like 31, 32. I'm gonna be there. But we actually have a doctor among us. My soror, Dr. Smith, is here on behalf of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, just talking about how art can be therapeutic and art can be political. Please welcome Dr. Smith.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad to be in the presence of greatness this evening. I am feeling just power during this conference. And Tara, thank you so much for inviting me to represent the sorority. Just to give you all background history on Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. It was founded on Howard University's campus, January 13th, 1913, by 22 courageous, brave women. And one of their first acts was the Women's Suffrage March. Now I'm going to lead into how Delta uses the arts to support the community. Basically, Arts and Letters was a committee created by two of our past national presidents. And we focus on supporting arts artists, music. We focus on supporting our writers, our dancers, pretty much anything under the heading of arts and letters in our African diaspora. Our goal is to promote more money into our authors, our movies, so that this can continue, so that this momentum does not die. We have a program that we're going to offer to our pre-K through middle school age group that I would like Natalie Bonner, who is also on this call, to describe to you this evening. So Tara, if it's okay, may she have a couple of minutes to speak?
Yes, that's fine.
So, Tara, what I'll do is I'll tell you about the program. Basically, what we're offering is an online program for our pre-K through our kindergarten. The activities are basically designed to help them with their ABCs, to help them with their numbers, to help them with hand and eye coordination. This program will be 13 weeks. It will be virtual. One of the things I like about the virtual platform is this is what our youth are doing right now. Everybody is using cell phones, everybody's using computers as modes of social media, but we also want to use it as a tool for education. So this is a platform that we will be launching this fall. Natalie Bonner is an author of children's books, has vast experience with these types of programs, and she is very excited to be working with us, and she's looking forward to serving the community as well.
All right, thank you, Sora, for sharing those resources. We are coming near to the end of our, again, it's not a show, it's a celebration. A show sounds showy to me. At this time, I want to shout out to any Black businesses or community events that are coming up in the room. If there are any business owners, if there are any people who are involved in community events, please be welcome and comfortable sharing what you have going on.
Hey, Tara.
M-I-Z.
Z-O-U.
Here you go.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Anthony Greer. I am the lead photographer and owner of Classic Synergy Media. So I do photography, video, and graphic design. So you can follow me on social media at Classic Synergy. That's Classic, CLASSIC, SYNERGY.
Well said. Thank you. See, Bazoo alums and PSM alums, we just do it right. We know how to do it. This is what we do.
Absolutely.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
I figured it out.
You go. You got it working.
I'm sorry. Soror Lakeisha explained it perfectly.
You here. That's what matters. You showed up. We saw your lovely face. You here, girl.
Goodness.
Any other community events, Black businesses?
Well, I do. I have a nonprofit organization. It's called Talented 10 Social Services. Since COVID occurred, we have been doing a lot of outreach. And then once the rioting and the looting occurred, we have been doing a lot of outreach on the west side of Chicago and the south side of Chicago. Yes, I'm out in Naperville. However, my people are my people. It doesn't matter where they are. And I'm a Delta, so it's what we do. We can't help but do that service. Besides that, we just been linking up with a lot of other organizations in those communities to let everybody know that we're standing together no matter what the media shows, that it's a lot of us out here who care about our communities and we stand with each other. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about everything that we're all doing. So.
Thank you, Soror.
You're welcome.
Tara, I do. I have a mentoring business called nonprofit called To Serve, and so we are honing our initiatives in on single parents giving care packages to single parents in the West Garfield Park area. So we are collecting supplies and taking donations so that we can get this effort up and going. One day, you know, that it talked about that doing thing. And one day my daughter was at work and she left work. It was the day after the looting and rioting. And she said, I cannot be at work. And she went home and she took $100 and she made over 100 lunches and gave them to the community, because that was the day that they weren't feeding the kids that day. The school district wasn't feeding the kids. And she did that. And then someone that called in for something said that they were a single parent and they needed supplies. And she offered supplies. And so, of course, when we say, well, we're going to do something for single moms, well, this person was a single dad. So that's what started the initiative for helping single parents with necessity packages. So that's what we're doing. And I also, you know, I wear many hats. I'm also teaching and training people on finances, teaching our people how to handle our finances, how to invest your money, about life insurance. It's an investment. It's not just about bearing yourself. It's about protecting people who you might leave behind. So replacing an income. So I also do that as well. So.
Thank you, Ms. Bird, for sharing. It's important that we share the wealth, you all. We cannot build if we don't share our resources, we don't share our knowledge. Let's not just do this only on Juneteenth. Let's do this all the time. Yeah. Any other shout outs? Well, I'm gonna shout out myself if that's okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you. So I shared part of my story about I Am Black Art on my last show in May, but for those who weren't around, I'll share it now. So about 2.5 years ago, I started a business called Paintings and Prose, in which I did workshops for youth. I also have a passion for youth. I've been in education for 5 years now, as well as making personalized portraits and just like Black art. And so I kind of fell off with that. I did fall off with that. And I got busy with life, and I didn't believe that I could be a success. But something just compelled me to restart that this year. I want to say it was my granddad's spirit. I don't want to say I do know it was my granddad's spirit. My granddad physically transitioned on March 27th, but he was not a procrastinator. He was a hardworking man, and there's no excuses. My Uncle Tony is here. This is what he said to me, and I told this to my mom, I told this to myself. He said this, I remember he said this, but he said, either you gonna do it or you not, ain't no try. So I was trying to have a business for years. I was trying to start my business, but in actuality, I was not. I was letting it just go aside. And so my granddad's spirit in me, listening to Uncle Tony say, ain't no try, really encouraged me to jumpstart and rebrand and rebuild. So my Paintings and Prose business turned into I Am Black Art. Because I just feel all around just an artistic person. I feel like I'm just born to create. So whether that be jewelry, whether that be a Juneteenth showcase, it's just something. And so that's what's in me. I made these earrings too, if you like them. And so I'm in the process of rebranding, so you'll see more to come. I also am in the process of writing my first book, so that'll be out this year, and I will definitely keep you all posted. And we may just have a book reading. So thank you. Hey. Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Thank you all again for joining us. I am so grateful for all who agreed to be a part of this celebration and all who are here just to support and love on us and be a part of this celebration. We could not do it. I could not do it without all of you. I will also be remiss to not actually honor those who have gone on. I think a great part of our Juneteenth celebration, a great part of honoring Juneteenth is actually honoring those who have gone on, those who have made sacrifices for us. I was telling my dear friend Tanisha that I feel like, this is gonna be kind of trippy, but just roll with me. I feel like George Floyd was our new Jesus. We needed somebody to be the sacrifice. So I'll say it again. Controversial, but this is how I feel. I felt like George Floyd was our Black Jesus. I felt like his death had to shake the world, had to teach the world that Black lives really matter, that we need to start celebrating Black people. And because a lot of people are actually reactive versus proactive, it needed to be that graphic. It needed to be that shaking. It needed to be that violent in order for people to actually get the message. And so we have to honor him. We have to celebrate his life and just give peace and blessings to his family. I have a list of names I want to share in this honoring of those who have gone on, but I also invite you all as well, once I'm done with my list, to share names that you feel moved to, okay? Unfortunately, I have a very limited amount of time, so I didn't get everybody. Of course, there's a lot of people who have gone on who want to honor them, but I'm going to name the people who I have closest to my heart right now. I'm going to start by honoring and recognizing George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Charlie Thomas, Lazara Daniels, Markel Smith, Bill Buick, Ahmaud Arbery, Rashad Brooks, Trayvon Martin, Philando Castile, Sandra Bland. Now I invite you all to call out names if you feel so moved to do so.
Hi. I'd like to call out Matthew Levy, Doretha Levy, George Levy, Fred Levy, Gene Levy. I'd like to also call out a good friend of mine, Glenn Ward, and I also like to call out those brothers who are in the struggle, who we oftentimes don't give credit to. Brothers that we've lost in war, as well as brothers who are serving the armed forces. Peace be with them all. Chuck.
AKA my dad.
I want to call out those that I've lost in trauma. Tony Lampkin, Lawrence Joshua, and many of the young boys that grew up in the neighborhood that I grew up that have gone on due to trauma.
Well, I like to call out my great-grandmother, Jenny Edmond, my great-uncle, F.D. Edmond, my mother, Betty Jean Barrow, and my aunt, Ida Jean Barrow, people that was very dear to me, Francis and James Hughes. So those are just some of the people I like to call out.
I would like to call out Claude and Alcina Washington, my grandparents, and one of my great grandmothers, Sherilyn Dorsey, who actually would have been her birthday today.
I would like to call out my grandfather and all of my beautiful, strong, resilient ancestors.
Thank you everyone for sharing. I know our ancestors are with us and they hear us and they know that we love them. I want to make sure we keep their memories strong in our hearts and be inspired, just how I'm inspired by my granddad, be inspired by those. I believe that people never die, they just transition. They are still alive in our hearts and in our memories and our spirit. So we honor them by the great work that we do. In closing, my Uncle Al is going to, again, lead us in another African tradition. And then while he is physically with us, my ancestor, Stevie Wonder, he's somebody I actually feel like I know. There are a lot of people that I feel like I know in my mind. I feel like me and my Angelou, like we go back years. I feel like I know Iyanla. I feel like I know a lot of people just because I'm connected to them spiritually. And Stevie Wonder is somebody I've always felt connected to spiritually. I remember my dad, I always knew it was time to clean up because I would hear Stevie Wonder play on Saturday mornings. That's how I knew, okay, now I'm about to go sweep the floor. It's time to wash the dishes. So maybe that's part of my dad's doing. But we're gonna end with Uncle Al, and then we're gonna close out with Uncle Stevie Wonder.
Okay, this has been a very good program. Thanks for inviting me. I really appreciated a lot of the things I heard tonight. Ms. Bird really gave me some good ideas. And the most important thing, I just want everybody on this program to keep physically and mentally healthy yourself. Self-care is very, very important. So like you said, diet and exercise, make sure you're eating healthy. You gotta be here in order to make change happen. You can't be sick and make change happen. So keep yourself well by, like you're doing, Tara, getting out walking, eat plenty of fruits and vegetables. I strongly encourage everyone to stop eating beef and pork. And just try to take care of yourself and eat a better, healthy diet and do some self-reflection and meditation. And if you want to build your intuition, Ms. Bird talked about intuition. If you really want to get in tune with yourself so you can get that, hear that voice that will guide you, meditation is very important. So the most easiest way to meditate is what I showed you in the beginning. Meditate on the name of God. Whatever name you're comfortable with, you can connect with God through his name, through the sound vibration. So you can say that name, just repeat it, and as you breathe, you can think it. So I like to close out with a little meditation with music. How can we have a program and don't have no African drums, right? So we're gonna meditate. You can join me if you like. I'm gonna do it briefly. These are some ancient names of God that I learned from Alice Coltrane, John Coltrane's wife. So this is a song, and these names are thousands and thousands of years old. So this is going all the way back to what our ancestors used to do. So if you can sing with me, you can. I'll make it brief, Tara, okay? Govinda Jaya Jaya, Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya, Radha Ramana Hari, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. Govinda, 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 Gopala, 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 Govinda Jaya Jaya, Gopala Jaya Jaya. So that will give you protection and spiritual enlightenment. Thank you very much. Wish everybody the best. Keep doing the good things you're doing. Tara, keep doing the good work you're doing. Stay healthy. Get some rest. Everybody, make sure y'all get rest and sleep. Eat right. Walk. Go by the lake. Do some yoga. Keep yourself strong so you can keep on keeping on.
And social distance.
Yes.
Wear your mask.
Yeah.
We need you around. We need you around to fight the good fight. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you. My heart is full. I am grateful for you all. Each and every day, love is what drives us. Love is what's needed. And love is in need of love today. As Uncle Stevie Wonder says it the best.